Okay, so as we get into a little more difficult multi-step equations, okay, just remember the steps to follow that will make solving it much easier. So the first step is to distribute if needed. This is if you see a set of parentheses and a number or value outside the parentheses, distribute that. After you distribute, make sure you simplify each side. This could mean combining like terms, like we've talked about before. After you simplify each side of the equation, then you need to move all variable terms to one side of the equation. So you're going to see that as we go through this. That's the new part, I guess you can say. Step 3 is what's new. And then after you move all the variables to one side of the equation, then you just solve the remaining two-step equation. So it should be simpler as you go through each step. So number 1, first check to see if there is any distribution needed. There is no set of parentheses, so I can skip step 1. Then I check to see if I can simplify on either side of the equation. Simplify meaning combining like terms. Since there's nothing to combine on the left, I leave it alone. Since there's nothing to combine on the right, I leave it alone. Now here's what it means by move all variables terms to one side. If you notice, I have 5y on the left and 3y on the right. And since we like so much for the variables to be on the left side of the equation, we are going to move 3y to the left side. Now you cannot just physically move it, we have to do it mathematically. So think about this. The positive of 3y, or the opposite of positive 3y, is negative 3y. But what I do to one side, I do to the other. And notice how I place it though. I don't place it with a negative 8 because you can't combine those two things. I put it with 5y because they're like terms. So 5y minus 3y is 2y. Minus 8 is still on the left side. What I've done is I've gotten rid of the y's on the right side of the equation, and I'm left with positive 12. Now it's become a simple two-step equation. So my goal is to get y by itself. So remember, we follow SADMEP. Technically SEDM, because we don't ever really see exponents or parentheses in this case. So I have to take care of any subtraction or addition first. So the opposite of minus 8 is to add 8, or the inverse, and to add 8 to both sides. So I have 2y, because these 8's cancel, equals 12 plus 8 is 20. Then I divide both sides by 2 because the inverse of multiplication is division. That takes care of those 2's, and I have y equals 20 divided by 2 is 10. We're going to follow the same steps for the rest of the notes. First, I take care of any distribution. There is no set of parentheses, so I can skip step 1. Then I check to see if I can simplify. There's nothing to combine on the left side, nothing to combine on the right side, so I move to step 3. This is what it means to move all variables to one side. Since we like the variables to be on the left side, I want to move this negative 8x. And the opposite of a negative 8x is a positive 8x. So I add that to the 6x because it wouldn't go to the 14. They're not like terms. So then I have negative 6x plus 8x is positive 2x. Okay. I still have plus 14 equals 12 because these 8x's cancel. So then I keep solving. I cannot take care of multiplication without doing addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to do the inverse of adding 14 is to subtract 14 to both sides. So I have 2x because those 14's cancel. 12 minus 14 is negative 2. I divide by 2 to both sides because the inverse of multiplication is division. X equals negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Okay, so there's no distribution, there's no like terms on either side, so my goal is to move the variables to one side. In this case, I want to move the positive 3k over to the left. The opposite of positive 3k is negative 3k to both sides. 7k minus 3k is 4k equals 3k's cancel, and I have negative 36. Make sure that sign stays with it. Then I divide both sides by 4. So k, because those 4's cancel, equals negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. So watch your sign. okay? Number 4, there is no distribution to take care of. There's no like terms on either side. So I'm going to move my variable 9u to the left, okay? The opposite of positive 9u is negative 9u, but I'm going to put it with the negative 2u because 12 is not a like term. So I have 12 because it was still there. Negative 2u minus 9u is negative 11u. 9u's cancel, and I have positive 45. Then I want to solve like a regular two-step. In order to solve, I need to move the 12 because I can't divide by negative 11 yet. So the opposite of positive 12 is negative 12 to both sides. I have those cancel. So I have negative 11u equals 45 minus 12 is 33. Then I divide both sides by negative 11. The 11's cancel, so u equals 33 divided by negative 11 is negative 3. Just more practice. So number 5, okay, there's no distribution. There's nothing to combine on either side, so I'm just going to move the variables to one side. I'm going to move the negative 6m to the left. So the opposite of negative 6m is positive 6m. I'm going to put it with the other m because you cannot add it or subtract it from the 11. So 11 stays. Negative 1m plus 6m is positive 5m equals 51, and those 6m's cancel. Then it becomes a simple two-step. So I cannot divide by 5m until I move the 11. So to move the 11, the opposite of a positive 11 is negative 11 to both sides. So those cancel. I have 5m equals 51 minus 11 is 40. Then I divide both sides by 5. 5's cancel. I have m equals 40 divided by 5 is 8. Number 6. Okay. Number 6. So there's nothing to distribute, so I look to see if I can combine like terms on either side, which I can't. So I'm going to move the variable to the left. So the opposite of negative 7k is positive 7k. I'm going to add it to the negative 10k. Because they are like terms. Negative 10k plus 7k is negative 3k. Plus 1 is still there, equals 40, and those 7k's cancel. Now I solve the two-step, which means I can't divide by negative 3 until I move the 1. So opposite of positive 1 is negative 1 to both sides. So I have negative 3k, because the 1's cancel, equals 40 minus 1 is 39. Then I divide both sides by negative 3. So k equals 39 divided by negative 3 is negative 13. Okay, number 7 is where we see our first distributing property, okay? So I see this set of parentheses. I need to take care of that first. So I'm going to distribute 3 times everything inside the parentheses. 3 times 6p is 18p. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Then I have 11p. There's nothing to distribute on the right side, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Now I look to see if I can combine like terms on either side. Here I can't, or there's nothing to combine. So now I'm going to move my variables to one side. So I'm going to move the 11p. The opposite of positive 11p is negative 11p. I do it to both sides. I'm going to put it with the 18p. 18p minus 11p is 7p. Nothing to do with the negative 3, so I bring it down. Equals, those 11p's cancel, so I have negative 45. Now I solve a simple two-step, which means I cannot divide by 7 until I take care of the negative 3 or minus 3. So the inverse of minus 3 is to add 3 to both sides. So I have 7p, because the 3's cancel, equals negative 45 plus 3 is negative 42. Then I divide both sides by 7. Those 7's cancel, so p equals negative 42 divided by 7 is negative 6. Okay, so we take care of our first step, which means distribute anywhere you see a set of parentheses. So on the left side, I distribute the 2 to everything inside. 2 times 4w is 8w. 2 times -1 is -2. Then I leave and I keep going. If you look on the right side, there is also something to distribute. So -10 times W is -10W. -10 times -3 is +30. It does not apply to the +4 outside the parentheses, so I'm going to bring that down. Now here's where we're going to see our first time of combining like terms, simplifying, okay? On the left, there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to rewrite it. On the right, though, I can combine +30 and +40. So I leave -10W there, but +30 plus +4 is +34. So that's the first time we've seen the step 2. Now I'm going to move my variables to one side. So I'm going to move -10W over to the left. The opposite of -10W is to add 10W to the 8W, because they're both W's. 8W plus 10W is 18W minus 2 equals, those 10s cancel, equals 34. Now it becomes a simple 2-step. Okay, I can't divide by 18 until I take care of that -2. The inverse of -2 is +2. I have 18W equals 34 plus 2 is 36, because those 2's cancel. Then I can divide by 18 to both sides. So I have W equals 36 divided by 18 is 2. I knew that. Okay, last 2 questions. Same idea. First, we take care of any sets of parentheses that we can distribute. So on the left here, I can distribute this 9. 9 times M is 9M. 9 times -3 is -27. And it does not apply to the 3m's, so I'm going to bring that down. There is nothing to distribute on the right side, so I'm going to bring down 7m plus 43. Now I looked for step 2. Can I combine anywhere on either side? So I can combine 9m plus 3m on the left side. 9m plus 3m is 12m minus 27 equals 7m plus 43, because there's nothing to combine on the right side, so I bring it down. Now I'm going to move the variables to one side, so I'm going to move this 7m to the left. The opposite of +7m is -7m. To both sides, to the 12m, because they are like terms. 12m minus 7m is 5m. Minus 27, because it's still there. These m's cancel, equals 43. I cannot divide by 5 until I get moved the -27. The inverse of -27 is +20 or +27 to both sides. I have 5m, the 27's cancel, equals 70. Then I can divide by 5 to both sides. I have m equals 70 divided by 5 is 15. Number 10, last but not least, I take care of any sets of parentheses that you can distribute. So the -16 does not apply, but I do bring it down because we will need it later. I'm going to distribute here, be careful, by -7, not just 7. So -7 times 2a is -14a. -7 times 3 is -21. 23 minus 2a, nothing to distribute, so I just bring it down. Now I look to see if I can combine any like terms. I look on the left and I can combine -16 and -21. -16 minus 21 is -37. The -14a, there's nothing to combine, so I bring it down. On the right side, there's nothing to combine, so I bring it down. Now I move the variable to the left, or whichever side you prefer. I want to move -2a, and the opposite of -2a is to add 2a to both sides, but I'm going to add it to the 14. -37 stays the same. -14a plus 2a is -12a. I have 23 on the right because the 2a's cancel. And now I solve a simple 2-step. I cannot divide by -12 until I move the -37. The opposite of -37 is to add 37. So those cancel. I have negative 12a equals 23 plus 37 is 60. Now I can divide both sides by negative 12 because the sign carries. A equals 60 divided by negative 12 is negative 5.